Thank you, Michael. As we gather around the topic of peace education, I'd like to share the perspective of as within, so without. My experience is using yoga as a developmental tool for children. The word yoga means union or unity. Unity is peace, and peace begins with me. It's an inside job. When I am peaceful, there's one more peaceful person in the world. Each person who strives for peace within increases peace on earth. Today, I'd like to share some practical techniques to cultivate peace within. So let's start with the nervous system. The autonomic nervous system has two modes, the stress response and the relaxation response. Stress is beneficial. We need that energy and focus to jump out of the road and avoid an oncoming car or to focus for a test. It's when that stress becomes chronic that it causes chaos in the body and the mind. Our breath is intricately interconnected to the nervous system. It's like the dial for the nervous system. Every inhale we take is an alerting response in the nervous system, and every exhalation is a relaxation response. So we want to focus on getting a full and complete exhalation. I'll show you a few simple techniques that you can use to do that. Once we cultivate a foundational awareness of both our body and our breath, we can really step into the world from a sense of peace and spaciousness and freedom from within. Then our interactions and our communications and our choices are going to be more peaceful. Ultimately, yoga is a practice of stilling the fluctuations in the mind. So we have that clear lake that we can see more clearly. When we're agitated or feel separate, that's when there starts to be more conflict in the world. So taking care of peace within us helps us to take care of peace within the world. So here are my daily habits for peace. You can do this in the morning before work or school. Teachers can use this in the classroom to start a lesson, to refocus the class, or at the end of the day to integrate the day. The first technique is called crocodile breathing. We're going to lay on the floor like a crocodile. Now, if you can actually do this in the space you're in right now, I recommend that you do so. You want to lay down on a firm surface, not a bed, that's too squishy, but a carpeted floor or a mat or a pad of some kind. When you're laying on the floor face down, you're going to stack one hand on top of the other and turn your head to rest a cheek on your stacked hands. You can even let your big toes touch and your heels fall away. The reason you want to lay belly down on the floor is because it gives you a lot of feedback about your breath. Oftentimes it's hard to take a full inhale into the belly. There's a lot of tension in the abdominal area. So when we lay on the floor and breathe in, you can feel your belly spread out on the floor. And then as you exhale, your whole body relaxes into the floor. You can do this for just a few minutes and it will make a big difference. Breathe in, belly spreads out on the floor. Breathe out, your whole body settles into the ground. We have to retrain our breath oftentimes, and so you want to do this every day, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Just lay on the floor and feel your breath in your belly. Then, when you find yourself in an anxious situation or a nervous situation, you can put your hands on your belly and get that same effect as being on the floor, and you'll have practiced it, so you're training your breath to breathe better. And remember, you want to focus on lengthening the exhale. Lengthening the exhale will tell your body that the stress response is no longer needed and we can go back to rest and digest. It's really that simple. Sometimes we think, oh, that's too easy. It couldn't be that easy. But just like you've heard before, we can't solve a problem at the level it was created. In our very complicated lives, sometimes a simple solution like lengthening your exhale is just the answer that we need. Another technique I want to share with you is using the body. So a few simple body postures can really make a difference in your day. The first one I love to share with kids is the superhero pose. Just like it sounds, you're going to stand up with your feet a little bit wider than your hips and just put your hands on your hips. Stand there for about 2 minutes. If you want to ask your phone to set a timer for 2 minutes so you know it's been 2 minutes, you can do that. You can also focus on your deep breathing while you're doing it. As you hold your body in this position, it's actually sending a message to your brain. When we're scared, our body contracts, or when our body contracts, we start to feel fearful. So when our body is open and we're standing strong, we feel more confident, and then we can step into the world as peace builders. There's a couple of yoga poses that are fun to do as well. One is triangle pose. Did you know triangle is the strongest shape in the universe? So when you stand with your feet wide and one foot turned out and tip into the shape of a triangle, hold that for 5 to 8 relaxing breaths and notice how you feel after doing that. Switch sides and do the same thing on the other side, and this takes about a minute and it can really shift your day. Connecting with nature is another great way to feel peaceful within. I mean, trees are not stressed out about what they look like or who's friends with them. So when we're in nature, we naturally feel more authentically ourselves and more with the rhythms of nature. And so to be a tree pose is a great way to do that. So you stand on one foot and bring your other inside of your foot to the inside of your leg. And then feel roots growing down into the ground. Actually visualize roots coming out of your feet. And then you can bring your hands together in front of your heart to feel more stable, or you can reach your arms up and let your leaves flutter in the breeze. Hold steady for 3 to 5 breaths, and then put both feet on the ground and change sides and do the same thing on the other foot. This is tree pose, and you can do it anytime you want to feel more stable and grounded. And it helps to keep your eyes steady. When your eyes are steady, it's easier to balance. Now we can turn this tree pose into a fun game called Wind in the Trees. You just need 2 people or more, and half of the group is in tree pose. And then the other half is the wind. So you're going to hold tree pose where other people are running around pretending like they're the wind. And that helps us to practice holding steady even when there's a lot of disturbance around us. This is a fun thing to do in a family yoga class where the grown-ups are trees and the kids get to be the wind and run around. And then after you do each side, you switch places. So now the wind is going to become the tree and the trees get to be the wind. And the kids think this is really fun when their parents are then the wind. And so you can do this with yourself, with your kids at home, with a friend at work, or in a classroom setting. And so using your body to create some stability is a great way to settle the nervous system, feel more stable and grounded, have that foundational awareness of your body, and become a peace builder in the world. And now I would like to share with you some of my favorite techniques for cultivating peace within. And these are called mudras, or hand gestures. They're really handy because they're like little mini yoga poses for your hands, and you always have them in your pocket and you can take them out and use them anywhere you need to. The first one I'd like to show you is called turtle in a shell. You put your thumbs inside your palms and wrap your fingers over your thumbs and just rest your hands down on your lap. If you can do this now while you're watching, please do so. And notice how you feel. What's the quality of energy in your body right now? And how is your breath moving? And what is the quality of the thoughts in your mind? I taught this to a group of kids in a program that I teach called Anxious to Awesome. 9-year-old Riley came in. She was taking the class because there was a boy in class who was really teasing her a lot, and it was very stressful for her to be bullied that way on a daily basis. So when I taught her this mudra, or hand gesture, turtle in a shell, she right away said, "Oh, this feels great. I know I'm going to use this the next time this boy is bothering me." So the next week in class, we did our check-in, and she said, "Oh, I do this all the time." And I taught it to my sister, and she does it all the time too. And I taught it to my best friend, and she does it all the time now too. So these hand gestures are contagious, and kids know that they can whip them out and do them anytime, anywhere, and you can too. Another one I'd like to teach you is called the heart flower mudra. So just bring your hands together in front of your heart, and then you're going to keep your pinkies and thumbs and the heels of your hand connected and just stretch out your middle fingers. And you might find that it's hard to stretch your fingers. And just like a yoga pose, a little bit of practice and stretching, and you'll be able to do it. As you stretch your fingers out, you can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Feel your breath and just notice, what is the quality of your mind and your breath and the energy in your body as you hold your hands in this position. You can even pretend you're holding a flower and notice the smell of the flower and the color of the flower as well. This might be the energy that you want to cultivate at some moment in your day. The third hand gesture I'd like to share with you is called the whole world mudra. You simply take the fingertips of one hand to touch the fingertips of the other hand with your palms open wide. Now, you've probably seen this before, right? When someone's thinking, you just might spontaneously do this. And that does help you to open your mind. So if you're looking for a novel solution, or you just want a moment of repose, the whole world mudra is a great gesture for you. You can hold it at the level of the navel, relax your shoulders and sit up tall. And again, notice how it feels. Taking a moment to hold your hands in a certain shape and feel your breath can reset and shift your mood, your awareness, and your energy. So very quickly, you can get out of a state of reactivity or nervousness or worry or lack of focus and come back to center. And so when we can incorporate these kinds of techniques on a daily basis, and they are so simple and we can do them anywhere at any time, they really allow us to reduce stressful feelings, increase peace, and then we can step forward into the world with a true sense of internal freedom that we can share with the world.